God, I'm deflated after that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Connor here. Welcome back to Leeds United. Let me just rearrange this camera. Oh, everyone. I'm sure if you have, fair enough. If you haven't, fair enough. We've just done a watch along on the channel, which was difficult in itself. Leeds United losing to Crystal Palace, and it's damning. It's a damning result. It's something that I've been thinking about in terms of how we've been playing and the way we've been going about things in the last sort of 4 or 5 games. I've seen a real decline in our ability to manage games. I've seen a real decline in our press. I've seen a real decline when it comes to substitutions that are making a difference at the right time. And once again today, Leeds took the lead, a really good start, momentum building. The Leeds were by far the better team, and I was really happy, as you guys could see on the watch long if you joined in. But there is a real worry now for me. And the reason I say that is because I said Everton, in my opinion, with where Everton were at the time, that was a bit of a must-win in terms of the home games you look at throughout the season and think, yeah, Everton, that's where we'll pick up 3 points. We always do that at the start of every season. We look at the host of games and think Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, those games are the one, games like that and games, teams in and around those others where we pick up points at home, And obviously we drew that game. Everton, we're still getting through us. I thought Demarai Gray was very unlucky not to get on the score sheet with that offside. Aston Villa, who even before the sending off last week, I still thought were the better team. They had a few more chances than we did. Obviously today again, Southampton, another one where Leeds are winning 2-0. And it felt very, very similar today. I mean, I know we drew that game, but it felt like a loss, winning the game 2-0. And then at the end of the game, you're looking at it, and Southampton are having chance after chance at the end of the game, and it's unbelievable they didn't win the game 3-2. I don't know what we do. We're 100 miles an hour when we're winning. We're 100 miles an hour when we're losing. It just seems a little bit. I don't know where we're going at the minute. I don't really know what the plan is, and I'm a little bit worried. Now, it's not an overreaction. We are, 9 games in now? Is it 8, 9 games in? And normally you judge after 10. Well, our 10 is going to be Arsenal, isn't it? Which is going to be a very, very tough game for Leeds United to be able to win. But I thought today, after that first half, when Leeds were the dominant team, I thought, there's going to be a point here where we're going to be able to win this game, and what a win it would have been. I mentioned it on the watch long. I said this will be a fantastic win if we're able to get this one up, over the line. It'd have been superb. But just the frantic nature of how we play, the amount of times we lose the ball in our own half and in that final half, and the amount of times teams are able to recover that ball because of our frantic nature and how chaotic we are. By the law of averages, teams are going to gain advantages from that. They're going to be able to create chances. They're going to be able to score goals. And we saw that in the second half. Dreadful on the ball, but let's get to the goals anyway. Leeds' goal, really nice play by Brendan Aronson. Obviously scored has scored the goal against Chelsea this season, but hasn't got on the score sheet since. Deserved that. He really deserved that, I thought. Off the post, well done, Pascal. As I said, Leeds the better team. And then, once again, I've mentioned it on the watch long. I'm almost defeated by how many times I sort of say this, but Liam Cooper is, for me, not good enough for the Premier League. He's not good enough for this side. I've said this now for 4 years. You still get people saying that he's a composed captain, he's a leader, he's someone who is vocal. I didn't see any of that in the second half when we were lifeless. I didn't see anybody geeing anybody up, and I'm not solely blaming that on Liam Cooper, but as the captain, you're expecting something on the pitch. You expect him to be grabbing players and throwing them to the man and having little chats with people in central midfield and strikers and all this sort of stuff, doing the captain role that you see Jordan Henderson do for Liverpool week in, week out. Didn't see any of that. For the first goal, he gives away a stupid free kick, which he didn't need to do, under no pressure whatsoever. Enables Jordan Ayew to close him down. He intercepts the ball. Liam drags him down. Pointless. Leeds then concede that goal. And then a lovely bit of play, I thought, in the second half. Palace were just moving the ball quicker, and we're not good enough to deal with that. We're just not good enough to deal with teams trying to manipulate spaces, manoeuvre spaces. And in the second half, they just upped the ante a little bit. Leeds didn't seem to come out with any vigour, any real of that same thing we saw in the first half, which worries me because it's almost like, where's the consistency here? Why can we only play for one half maximum in this Premier League campaign? That's it. And we've seen it so many times. And And Palace were the better team. They were much the better team. Leeds didn't have a shot. Didn't have a shot in the second half. I actually believe we did. I think it was Joe Gelhardt towards the end, where it just bobbled off him and it went in. But yeah, I'm worried. I am worried. And I always try keep my counsel with stuff like this because you always get called negative and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, I should be coming on here and saying Leeds are going to be heading towards Europe easily. But for me, there's just still worrying signs. We're frantic. We still keep those same aspects of that Bielsa side that we had, which were negative. It's just in a different way. It's just in a different way we go about things. And once again, you are leading in a Premier League game where 3 points are so difficult to come across. And we were leading against Southampton away from home, and we throw it away again. The substitutions were not good enough. They were too late. Somerville, for me, is not ready. He's not ready. Said it on the stream if you were watching the watch along. I don't think he's ready for Premier League football yet. He seems like he's in that middle bracket that we keep speaking about from the 21s to the Premier League. There's a huge jump. You've got Willy Gnonto on the bench, who was fantastic against Tranmere and looked like the best player on the pitch for Leeds, or one of the better players on the pitch. Doesn't feature. He stays on the bench. And then he brings Luke Ayling and Joe Gelhardt on in the 83rd minute, which was just a complete reaction to the goal. It wasn't being proactive, it was reacting to the goal. And none of them, all three subs, none of them made a difference. You know, Rodrigo went up front in a game where we're playing long. You know, we're playing long. I know we're playing centrally on the floor at points, but that wasn't working, so Leeds started to go long. So you're then playing the ball to Rodrigo, who's up top by himself, and we're not getting in and around him to try and win the second balls. There's too much of a gap between the attacking player and the midfield. So you're fighting a losing battle, and I just don't understand what we're doing. I don't understand. Has he told them at half-time to go out there and try secure a point? I don't know, because we were so negative in that second half. There was nothing in that second half. And I'm so disappointed because we were in that game and we should have won that game because they weren't there today. You're going to get Patrick Vieira going in that half-time break and saying, you're nowhere near it, lads. You're nowhere near it. You have to bring this up. And all they'd have said is Leeds are susceptible. They are vulnerable. Start playing the ball quicker, manipulating the spaces, start, you know, having a little bit of bravery on the ball, and you'll be able to cut through them. That's exactly what they did. You know, Coops doing a spiral effort when it came to a feign. You know, Eze gets the ball, feigns it. Coops does a spiral, then he digs it in the bottom corner. Mark Rocker's way out of position. You know, Christian's got two players to deal with when Tariq Mitchell's doing the overlap because we're so narrow. It's a worry. It is a worry. With where we are now, I just don't see. I think with the fixtures that we've had, I was mentioning on the stream when we've had, you know, Wolves who were, you know, they were winless. I think Wolves had won something like 1 game in 10 when they came to Elland Road, which a lot of people forget. We've had Aston Villa at home, an Aston Villa side who haven't been good at all this season. We've had Everton, who are not a good side, at home as well. You've also had Crystal Palace, which is always a tough game, but we got a point last season down there to be able to, you know, pick up points for Southampton away where you're winning 2-0. We've had good games, everybody. Leeds' most difficult game this season has been Chelsea at home. You know, we have got difficult periods of football coming up, and I think maybe when people are saying, look where we are, Connor, we're 14th, we're still, 3 points off the relegation zone. I think we've had, probably when you look at the Premier League teams, some of the easier fixtures when it comes to the bottom half teams. And that's why I always come on here and say you have to apply context. Because yes, Leeds have a certain amount of points in a certain amount of games, which is great. But look at the teams that we've faced. Look at the teams who are coming up. You look at that January, February period, there are a lot of tough games there. And when I say tough games as well, everybody, I'm looking at away games as well, because even the teams that we've already played, we've played a significant amount of those games at home. You know, when we go to Goodison Park, that's never easy. Aston Villa away, that's not going to be easy. Wolves away, that isn't going to be easy. We've got all these games coming round again, and we don't look that great away from home. I don't know if it's the atmosphere, but the game management side, we've had 2 woeful games when you look at Southampton and Crystal Palace away from home, where we've not been able to manage the game, and that does fall at the manager. And I'm just thinking to myself now, like, it's chaotic watching Leeds like it always was under Marcelo Bielsa, but I'm just trying to figure out how we're evolving here. Has it improved that much from the end of last season, the last 12 games of last season? And what is the point now? Where are we going? Is the objective 10th? Like the chairman was saying sort of 10th to 14th. That's still a possibility. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but with how Leeds manage games and how Leeds are going about ending some of these fixtures and the general game state, which is just chaos. It's chaos. And I don't think it's in a great way, to be honest with you, because I don't think we're good up top. I don't think we benefit up top from our attackers. I don't think we're good enough. I think it's going to be like it was last season, Rafa or nothing. I think it's going to be Sinistera or nothing. I almost think the overall pie of Leeds has improved, as in the squad calibre. I do think that. I really do think that. But I don't know if I'm watching an improvement. I don't. And I don't know, you know, have we dominated a 90-minute spell so far in 8 or 9 games? We haven't. Maybe Chelsea would probably be in there, but that's it. That is it. You know, and I'm just a little bit wary. Christ, doom and gloom. I don't know what. Let's change tact. Okay, let's change tact. Hi everybody, welcome back to One Leeds. We've lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace, and yeah, it's okay. We were 1-0 up. Great things to take from that start of the game. 1-0 up. Bamford missed a great chance, but we lost 2-1. But there are great things to take away from that. Leeds, we've lost 2-1, but just think about it. We're 14th. We've got Arsenal next. We'll probably beat Arsenal, but we've lost 2-1 today, and that's it. You know, it's okay. It's fine. Maybe that should be my tact. Maybe I should come on here and just talk about all the great aspects of what's happened today. And this is a match reaction, everybody. And I'm looking at the general aspects of Leeds United at the minute, and how in the last 5 games. Is anybody looking at this and saying it's good? It's not good. It wasn't good in the first half against Aston Villa before Sinistera got sent off. It was good for one half against Southampton. It was good for maybe a half against Wolves. It was good for 90 minutes, of course it was against Chelsea. But is this consistent? I don't get what the plan is. Bamford goes off. The profile of strike. We all know we need a striker in June. And, my language, shit shock horror. Wow, this is affecting us again, isn't it? It's not like we all called this. We all said that this was going to be a problem. We have Willy Gnonto, we have Sonny Perkins, we have Joe Gelhardt, but none of them fit the profile that is Patrick Bamford. So you get a striker that fits the profile. So when the main guy is out, which he frequently is out, that other profile of striker, it could have been even, you know, someone like Ben Brereton Diaz or whatever. I'm not the scouting department, but someone who is more of a Patrick Bamford mould is able to come in. And when he comes in, Leeds are able to play their system better. But we don't have that profile of striker. We didn't invest in January. They're now getting all excited, apparently, at Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo is not coming to Leeds, everyone. I would be stunned if he did. You can clip this one up. But Cody Gakpo is about to go to the World Cup. He has been exceptional so far this season. He's going to cost Leeds 45 to 50 million quid. He's going to go to the World Cup. He's probably going to light it up. And there's going to be all the clubs in the world looking at him. In the summer, there was Man United, there was Chelsea all looking at him. What are we looking at here? And why didn't we just see that off in the summer and actually, you know, plan for someone else apart from Charles de Ketelaere? It is pointless talking about right now. I just don't understand. I know people will come to this video tomorrow and the day after and say we're in a great place, we're in a fantastic place, but I just think context needs to be applied. We've got 2 points in 15 now. We've got Arsenal up next. And we've thrown away another lead today. And I just don't understand. What am I looking at? And I don't know if am I looking at something completely different? Am I being overreactive? I presume there's going to be a massive section of Leeds fans who are saying I'm overreactive to this, overreacting, and that's fine. I understand football. As I always say, football is subjective. I get that. But if you can just fill me with a bit of information as to where we're going here and where's the next 3 points coming from, everyone? That's what I'm worried about now. Like, where is the next 3 points coming from? And as the title of this video quite rightly says, I think we are in a relegation battle. That's not me saying we're going down, but I think we are going to be in a battle. I'm not seeing enough that I'm thinking to myself, we can close out games, we can manage games, we can ultimately win games. I'm not seeing enough of it. Yeah. I don't know. But my standards, I will say this, and my expectations of this side, for the amount of money that we've spent, 250 million when we've been in the Premier League, we've been here now, this is our 3rd year. I don't want to be going to Palace, everyone, and this is what I'll ultimately say. If you want to watch a different YouTube channel, be my guest. I completely understand. Everyone has different likes and you know, they want to hear different content. I get that. But I'm not happy with Leeds United going to Crystal Palace and us coming away as a fan base saying, we had a good first half though. There's positives from that first half. I heard Alan Smith saying it. Leeds will take encouragement from the first half. What? If you want to take context completely out of it, because Palace have played Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City so far this season, if you're taking context completely out of it, then we look at where Palace were at the start of proceedings today, 17th. So we should, if we're taking context out of it, we should be going to Crystal Palace and winning. We should be going to Crystal Palace and not losing. Now, I said 1-1. You know, and I thought it was going to a 1-1, but the state of that second half was a joke. Chances given away, possession given away consistently, nothing being created in that second half. So I apologise if this is coming across as ultimately negative, but I just want more from my team. I want more. You know, I just want us to be able to, you know, really aim for those dizzy heights and see improvement year on year. You know, the first year we finished 9th, which was incredible. Then we saw a massive downturn in the second season where we didn't do what we should have done in the summer. And ultimately the football was affected on the pitch and we finished, how many positions was it? We finished, was it 8 positions lower? 8 positions lower than what we did in the first season. Okay, fine. But then this season, are we going to see any improvement? Is it going to be, you know, we look at Tyler Adams and I loved it. I thought he was brilliant today. Really, really good today. Pascal I thought was good today as well. But Tyler Adams has definitely been an improvement there. I think there's an argument that he's a better player than Calvin Phillips. Mark Rocker, there's an improvement in there. But there's improvements on the pitch when it comes to quality. Of course there is. But are we seeing it enough in the style of play? Are we seeing it in the system? We can't seem to manage games. And the chaos really feeds into that. The chaos constantly. It's just nuts all the time. There's no composure on the ball in any facet of when Leeds are playing. And Steve Brown says, would we be feeling like this if Forest game had been cancelled and we'd have 3 more points? The thing is, Steve, what are we relying on? Are we saying that we 100% would have beaten Nottingham Forest at the minute? Because Nottingham Forest would probably be looking at Leeds and thinking the exact same thing. You know, that game would have been after Leeds got pumped by Brentford 5-2. But it's, I guess not, mate. But what does it mean, you know? Leeds United Ultra said, only 8 games in, how can it be a relegation battle? How I look at it is everyone always says judge it after 10 games, all right? So 8 games in, so we've got Arsenal next. That's 9. And then you got Fulham, which is a big game, obviously. So then do we judge? Because that's over a quarter of the season. So you're ultimately looking at a quarter of the season now, aren't you? That's why I'm saying I think we're in a relegation battle from what I've seen. A relegation battle as well, take it into context. I am saying that I believe that Leeds United will be in the 15th and below mark. That's what I think. That's what I'm talking about. Contextualise this. I'm talking about when it comes to a relegation battle. I think anything between 15 and below is a battle. So that's what I think. I don't think Leeds are going to come 14th, 13th or 12th. I don't. That's my opinion. And listen, it's much of a muchness within that pack, isn't it? But I just have no idea how maybe people aren't worried for this with what we're seeing at the minute. And Steve, fair enough, absolutely would have beaten Forest. Yeah, fair enough, mate. I don't see what we're looking at this moment in time when it comes to Leeds. Eagle-eyed Nate says, haven't beaten Palace at Selhurst since 2006. Not being funny, but as much as I get your frustration, what's happened to us constantly this season happened to you today. Yeah, I get it. The thing is, mate, I think we've had too many games like this now. Too many games like this. And that's why when I'm talking about a relegation battle, it's not me saying Leeds are going to go down, as I keep having to say, because I know there might be a few sensitive people in this chat. I'm saying that I think we're going to be involved in it. I just don't think we've got enough at the minute to be able to really push ourselves out. And I said that at the start of the season. I think you bring 3 more players into this starting 11, this squad, I should say, at the start of the season, and I don't think we're in the words of Andrea Radrizzani, it's impossible for us to be in a relegation battle, and I'm probably of that mindset. But I just don't think there's enough difference makers when it comes to not being involved in a relegation battle. Sorry, guys, I didn't even know there was Super chats coming in. Robert, top man, thank you, mate. I have more of an issue with the defence getting split open. Also, 100% agree on Bamford comments. Yeah, should have scored, had to score. People defended him, saying that he didn't. You know, it was a tough chance. It wasn't a tough chance. He's 1-on-1, and it's straight at Gaeta. He's got to score for me. Yeah, and that's it, Robert. It's the defence, mate. I completely agree. And this is how do you manage games when your defence is consistently being split open? How do you manage games when even when you're playing teams that are winnable, teams at home that are winnable? When you look at Everton and Aston Villa and teams like that, even Wolverhampton Wanderers, you're still looking at these games and we're still getting split open. And it's more about the quality of the opposition, you know, and them being able to finish off their chances, which I know feeds into the notion of, well, they're going to be down there as well because they don't have the quality like we don't have the quality. But it seems like a lot of this season, I feel that Illan Meslier has got us out of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff this season, I think Illan Meslier has got us out with his incredible shot stopping. There's some more super chats up here, I believe. Let me have a look. Loads of comments coming in, everyone. Loads of comments coming in. Bradley Pickles, hey mate, most ineffective team in the world from corners, yeah, and Palace have conceded quite a lot, haven't they? LUFC Loft says Italy attacker on the bench, click and ailing on, yeah, especially when you're chasing a game, mate. Bradley says no patterns of play going forward, it's so poor. I do think it's poor. It is poor at the minute, and that second half, unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough. Let me just a couple more of your comments. Stephen says I'm very worried. It's kick and rush football at best, and we do not look like scoring goals consistently. We run out of steam so easy. Sit deep, soak it up, and then hit us. The thing is, Stephen, I'd have said the same about Bielsa ball, mate. And this isn't a Marsh Bielsa ball, mate. I'm talking about just evolution in terms of Leeds United. I agree with you. I think a lot of it is very, very hectic. I think it's chaotic. It's mental when you're watching it. It's blood and thunder football, which is very, very similar to what we'd seen for 3 years under Marcelo. But it's very, very different in terms of being central, compact, narrow, all this sort of stuff, being a little bit more direct, not exposing, using our wingers really to the effect that we had with Bielsa. But Bielsa, obviously, would get exposed centrally. Against Marsh, with Marsh, it's normally been out wide. But the actual aspect of Leeds playing hasn't changed. It is kick and thunder. It's thunder football consistently. And I think it is easier when teams are brave against Leeds. If they have ball carriers who are effective on the ball. If they get it and just decide to run at Leeds will struggle. And you sit in, you frustrate us. There's two ways now that team seems to be playing against Leeds and will play against Leeds. You're probably going to get the better teams who are going to play football against Leeds, who are naturally going to beat us because they've got better players, they've got more facilities, they're just better. That happens in football. And then you've got other teams who are just going to sit in and frustrate us and fall on the floor, like we even saw with Palace today. We saw it with Villa, we've seen it with Everton, we've seen it with Wolves even when obviously we beat them in that game. But it seems to be very difficult for Leeds to be able to get past that hurdle. So then when you've got better footballing teams and you've got teams who have better game management than us, like we've seen this season, what are you then relying on? It's so scatty, have no confidence going forward. Yeah, can't disagree with that. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Listen, you've heard me waffling on for long enough. And I'm not in the mood, to be honest. I am so down after that. Leeds leading and losing at Crystal Palace in a game that I didn't think we should lose. But it is what it is, everyone. We move on to Arsenal next week. If you want to see some bonus content, we are going to be doing a live stream on the Patreon account this evening with my old man. We're going to be doing a Generation Leeds. So I will put the link in the description below if you want to help the channel and if you want to, get your comments in on the channel and stuff with me and my dad. We're going to be evaluating the game. So make sure you stick around for that one. Guys, have a good one, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.